Alright, up here at the top position we have the player who took a risk last game in ZVZ, ended up working out for him. A member of the Team Xenix, he is Xenix Line. He extends forever. He's not a line segment. Now his opponent, Kyrix, can be aggressive, but last time was a little passive.
Kyrix
said his name. Oops. That's okay. Pool first for Kyrix. In fact, that's a 10 pool, so he wants to put on some aggression early. Not entirely sure what that sign means, because I was looking at my screen and didn't even try to read it, but I'm sure it was something along the lines of their teammates and they're battling it out, and that's a sad story. So look at this extractor tricks going on here for Kyrix. He just wants to get as many Zerglings out as he can once that pool finishes. And actually he made that second one, so he did some funky extractor tricks and then didn't cancel that one. He actually wants to use it. So what I think we're going to see here from Kyrix is he's going to be very aggressive when the spawning pool finishes, and then afterwards he's going to try to follow up with possibly Banelings, but more likely I think Roaches. If you keep your opponent's drone count low with that early attack that he tries to drone and you come in with just a few Roaches, with good Roach control you can kind of overwhelm your opponent, especially if he does something like make a Baneling nest. So those 8 Zerglings are going to pop out here pretty soon. Of course 6 of them initially. Now, with the spawning pool for Line not yet done, notice he is saving that larva because he wants to be ready for this. He knows it's a possibility. All Zerg players kind of have to be ready. It looks like Kyrix is going to be following up with the Baneling Nest, which can be quite effective. Following up with the Roach Warren is a little bit more difficult to do because you don't have as many drones. It's a lot more technical. But, man, Line's getting that Zergling speed. In fact, he's making only 4 Zerglings. Now, if Kyrix actually hides this, he's going to do this. He's going to do the Kyrix style. This is the Kyrix way, is to hide your Zerglings and get hyper-aggressive suddenly, catch your opponent off guard. Baneling Nest going down for Line, but the Baneling Nest, of course, much faster. But Line, he knows his teammate well. He's going to spot this. Nice move by Line to come out here and scout this. Now remember, Kyrix didn't get Zergling speed, so he's going to have 100 extra minerals to make Banelings, and even though his opponent knows that there's something coming maybe, he doesn't know quite what yet. Now, if Kyrix actually controls these Banelings properly, hits a ton of drones, this should end the game. If it doesn't end the game, Kyrix is going to be in trouble because he's committed so much to this. Now that Queen is trying her best to block the ramp, but I don't know how effective that's going to be. Here comes the Banelings. Oh, those Banelings trying to squeeze by. He may be able to kill 2 Banelings with 1 if he tries to use that Baneling, but he sneaks through. The Queen dies. Needs to control those Zerglings. Actually, he's going to go for it. He kills those Banelings at the front. And I had to say, Line's in trouble now. Although he does get those Banelings out just in time. Kyrix is going to warp some Banelings in his face. Not sure if that's the right choice. He'll try to defend those Banelings, but he can't get them out in time. And this attack, it was hard to judge how it was going to go, but I think it definitely went in the favor of Line. He's got more drones than his opponent. Also has a better Zergling count now. Look at that. There's a shot of him. Remember, he has Zergling speed as well. And when you don't have Zergling speed and your opponent has Zergling speed and he has more Zerglings than you, he can just run circles around you. He's like your soccer coach. He's running circles around you. But sometimes you got to be a little bit more careful with those speedlings. Nice control by both players on the defense. That one Zergling trying his best to break up and see what's going on. Wasn't able to. Now Kyrix was pulling up some minerals here for a second. Looks like he has decided to make some drones, even making a spine crawler just to be safe. He knows how far behind he is. His opponent's got speed. When your opponent has speed and you don't, it's just really, really hard. You can kind of do whatever you want when you have speed and your opponent doesn't, because you can always be somewhere where he's not. And so if he tries to attack you, can do a counterattack. Look at this micro. That was crazy. That was kind of weird. Line going for that. Oh! Makes the cocoon there for a second. Goes in. He's going to try to attack this drone. If he pulls the drones properly, well, only 2 of those drones got hit. And on top of that, of course, drones. Whoa! Well, that was so weird. Why didn't he try to kill one Baneling? Blows up a Baneling. So if you have one Baneling blow up 2 Banelings, that's pretty huge. Not the best control here by Kyrix. He definitely could have gotten a lot better out of that. Alright. There's the Roach Warren going up for Line. As far as drone counts goes, 17 drones for Line to just 12 drones of Kyrix. So once those roaches start coming out, if your opponent doesn't even have Zergling speed and you're using roaches, and you've got better economy than him, it gets really, really bad. So what I think Kyrix needs to do right now is just hold the phone, make only drones. That's exactly what he's doing. He's making only drones right now. He's getting that Zergling speed up because those are the two things he needs to sort of get himself back in this. He needs Zergling speed. Without it, you just can't control the ZVZ matchup. And he needs to get as many drones out as he can. Just try to defend. He's got that Spine Coil at the top of his ramp. He can use his Queen if he needs to. He even has a Baneling at the top of the ramp just in case. So with good control, he should potentially be able to try to get himself back in this. But smartly, Kyrix is going to take another base. And I'd rather Lion's going to take another base. And there's nothing that Kyrix can really do about that. Looks like he may be planning on taking his own base. Now, this is kind of an interesting, weird situation. If Kyrix ends up having much better macro and much better decision-making overall than Lion does, he could come back here. It'd be somewhat of an upset for him to come back, or not an upset, but a comeback. It would be a comeback for him to come back. I don't want to say it's an upset, but it's a comeback just the same. Zerglings do spot the hatchery. Now, this actually may trigger Lion to attack now. He's thinking, okay, you're expanding and I'm expanding, but I have a better army than you. Maybe I should just attack you right now. It hasn't gotten an evolution chamber, doesn't really want to get any upgrades just yet, just getting those roaches out, wants to hold his hatchery, but now that he knows that Kyrix is also expanding and he's seen how few Zerglings he has, he may want to get aggressive here. But as it is, it looks like he's just passively sitting back. He's making a lot of attacking units, but he's not actually getting out and mobile with them, and that may just give Kyrix enough time. I have to say, Lion's decision-making here is a little bit questionable. In fact, he almost could have just canceled that hatchery and just ended the game with what he had. And now he's giving Kyrix enough time, kind of similarly to how we saw last game, where Kyrix gave Lion enough time. Now Lion may be giving Kyrix enough time. It's really hard to judge in the game. I know I'm the one who's got the bird's eye view. I can see everything going on, so it's hard for the players to judge. It's not like that Kyrix, or keep saying their names backwards. They're both Xanax players. It's confusing. Their colors are really similar. The Banelings, I'm like, I don't know whose Banelings those are. Lion is not playing badly at this point, but he's not capitalizing as well as he could be on this situation. Now, there are a lot of Speedlings out here for Kyrix, but there are a lot of Roaches as well. Takes 3 Roach shots to kill a Zergling when they don't have +1. Zerglings may try to run into the main. Do decide not to. He's got to be careful, because if you try to run into the main and you just go for it, and there are Banelings at the top, like we see there, for Lion, it can go pretty badly. Giving away all your Zerglings for free. So there's the Roach Warren for Kyrix. Wants to get his own Roach Warren up. Now that he's got his expansion up. As far as drone counts go, Kyrix has 27 drones to just 18. He's trying to take a risk, but it looks like finally Lion is going to realize, I can capitalize on this, I can attack you, and you're not going to be able to hold this. And he's going to go for it. He doesn't have Roach speed or any upgrades whatsoever for those Roaches, but he just has so many of them. In fact, he's got 18 Roaches to 33 Zerglings, a Spine Crawler, 2 on the way. Baneling's going to be taken out here. That's one Baneling getting some splash damage, and the Zergling's trying to surround. Well, there are just so many Roaches, I don't know if even the surround will be enough. And here come the Banelings to help out as well, and this is where things get really nasty. You can't really engage the Roaches when there are Banelings on top of them. Banelings actually may just go for the Spine Crawlers. No, it's all the Zerglings, and it looks like Lion is going to take out Kyrix here, and somewhat of an upset. Just showed some better control there from the outset of that game. Kyrix got a little too aggressive, and that seems to be the story of ZVZ today, getting a little aggressive and then falling behind. GG! He looks happy. He looks shocked, actually. Covering his face. Drinking his victory water. Henceforth, that water will be called victory water. And there's Kyrix. He looks, dare I say it, mad. He looks a little mad. But that's how it goes sometimes. You 10 pool and you don't do a lot of damage. Sometimes things go a little sour for you. It's not the best. You know, if your opponent prepares properly and saves that larva and he gets ready for that 10 pool, even if he goes for speed, you attack, and if you don't do a significant amount of damage, he's got Zergling speed. You don't have Zergling speed. That is like the moment where even if you have a few more drones than your opponent and you don't have Zergling speed, he makes a lot of Zerglings. His Zerglings are everywhere. You can't keep up with them. There's like, it's like trying to get a fat kid to chase like a marathon runner or something. You just can't keep up with them. It's not going to happen. The marathon runner's like all over the place. The fat kid's trying to catch up. He just can't. He doesn't have his wings yet. He needs to get that metabolic boost. He just doesn't have it. And in the marathon runner's running all around. So you can do Zergling counterattacks. You can always be back in time to deal with your opponent's Zergling attacks because he doesn't have speed. And you just got that map control. You can almost do whatever you can want. You can make Banelings, you can make Roaches. We're going to have an interview now with our winners in next line.
바로 김수호 선수입니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
네,
감사합니다.
네, 자 지금 현재 소감 부탁드리겠습니다.
How do you feel right now?
저그전 방송에서 한 번도 이겨본 적이 없어가지고
네.
첫 경기 지고 나서 또 이렇게 지나
I haven't won any rounds of broadcasted matches against Zerg.
그래도 이기니까 기쁘네요.
네. 자 그리고 매번 이제 제가 중계를 하면서도
And he said he feels very proud to beat another Zerg. That's even on his team. It just makes him feel proud.
자신의 눈이 아름답다고 생각을 하십니까?
네, 아니요. 저는 제 눈이 컴플렉스라고 생각하는데.
그렇군요.
예.
자 다시 본론 들어가서 팀킬이었습니다. 한준 선수랑.
I don't think my eyes are very interesting. That's what I was told.
네, 일단 준함 서로 열심히 했는데 어차피 둘 중에 한 명 올라가는 건데 내가 이겼으니까 그냥 더 높은 곳까지 리모까지 더해서 올라갈게.
자 그리고
So
이제
we
이윤열
both did our
선수와
best, but of
박준영
course only
선수의
one of us
승자,
could advance.
이 둘 중에 승자 중에 승자와 이제
He showed me a good game,
어떤
and so I
선수가
thank him.
올라왔으면 합니까? 개인적으로.
저는 이윤열 선수가 올라왔으면 좋을 것 같아요.
네 이유는요?
왜냐면은 이윤열 선수한테 또 저희 팀 최종환 선수가
I hope Nada
있거든요.
advances to the next round.
복수하고 싶어요.
복수 때문에.
예.
자 그리고 마지막으로 김수호 선수를 응원하는 팬분들에게
Because his
한마디
teammate was defeated by OGS Nada and he wants to
네,
get
많지는
revenge for
않지만
him.
몇몇 분들이 있는 거 알고 있어요. 저 응원해 주신 거.
예.
네. 응원해 주신 만큼 진짜 열심히 해서 진짜 노력 열심히 해서 더 높은 곳까지 올라갈 테니까 네, 응원 앞으로도 많이 부탁드릴게요.
네.
감사합니다.
앞으로의 선전은 기대하겠습니다.
He said he's going to try his best to make it all the way to the finals, so he's asking for your support. So give Line your support. He's one of those players who hasn't had the most results recently, and he's definitely one of those players that, at least to me and I think some of my friends, and I think mostly the general consensus and kind of in the foreign scene, as when you see his NX Line and your Liquid Bet, you're like, I'm going to vote for whoever he's like playing against. I don't think his NX Line's very good. He hasn't shown that many results recently and stuff, but he took out Kyrix, and he's in the round of 16 in the Super Tournament. That's a pretty good feat so far. No easy feat. I mean, taking out his teammate, Kyrix, in some unusual games, but he played, whoever wins is the better player overall, in tournament standings wise. So he came out on top, so got to give him props for that. And I'm looking forward to see his play in the future, how he evolves. Remember, he took out Jinro to get here, so that's not easy either. Jinro, he's kind of been struggling with his TVZ recently, but he did take out Jinro, and he kind of stomped him, really. So, pretty impressive. All right, so we've got a little bit of downtime here. We're about to have a 2-minute break. But follow GOM TV and FXO Wolf on Twitter, and you should do that during your break.